Hello again everyone, Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Venus and major adverse aspect to the South Node in a natal horoscope. As most of you know, the South Node is associated with what we generally will overemphasize or accentuate very strongly, often in the first part of our lives or generally in the first half of our lives. And when we hit around age 30 or so, generally we go in the direction of the North Node, which is connected with our soul's mission or purpose, and not necessarily eradicating the South Node completely, but merely integrating it with the North Node at least somewhat. And we look at Venus. It's connected with love, beauty, relationships, things of a monetary nature, values, things of enjoyment, like things we might indulge in and take pleasure in. Well, anyway, the first thing I look at when I look at these aspects, and as far as Venus making a major adverse aspect to the South Node in a natal chart, it could indicate somebody that maybe was somewhat, they were overindulgent in maybe certain pleasures and may have distracted them for maybe developing their South Node qualities even more than so, or it could show that maybe relationships may have caused a distraction or some diversion as far as the South Node goes, in terms of what they were going to do with their South Node in their life, in the first half of their lives generally. It could also show that we look at Venus as about pleasure. Maybe that dominated the person or and kind of distracted them from what they wanted to do with their South Node. It could show that maybe things connected perhaps with of a monetary nature might have caused some distraction as well. Maybe there were some things that were associated with values indoctrinated them. Maybe their values somehow played a role in maybe not doing or going after what they were going to do early on in their lives. This could be something where maybe, if we look at it conversely, the South Node may have been something that might have caused, or whatever they were pursuing with the South Node might have caused some maybe problems in their relationships to some degree. Maybe they felt that they weren't really finding, I guess you could say, maybe it caused problems with a prospective, maybe significant other, or some kind of romantic involvement. Maybe the South Node interest was dominating this person so much that it might have conflicted with their relationships, or maybe they felt it went against their values and didn't really feel comfortable maybe doing whatever it was they were doing. A lot of this could depend on, I guess you would look at like the house of Venus. If Venus, say, is in the first house, it could indicate that maybe things, you never want to say someone loves themselves too much, but perhaps something connected with maybe egocentric things might have caused a distraction, maybe for in terms of pursuing what they wanted to pursue with their South Node. Obviously, a second house could be something connected with material pleasures or overindulgence with things. Maybe there was too much of a love for money, and it was something where it might have taken this person away from their South Node. There might have been more of an emphasis on the money element as opposed to really pursuing what they really really could have pursued in their early years. So, and on the positive side, if somebody has, say, they have the South Node making I guess you could say South Node making an opposition to Venus, that would mean that Venus would be conjuncting the North Node. So, and in the second part of the person's life, at least in that example, with the Venus conjuncting the North Node, it could show that maybe that whoever, maybe that significant other or a romantic partner might figure prominently in the person's mission or their life purpose. It could also, on the negative side, be indicative of somebody that might stay with relationships, whether they're maybe to their detriment or whether they're positive or they're beneficial, and maybe proclivity to stick with them regardless whether the relationship or the love is actually to that person's benefit or not. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Venus in major adverse aspect to the South Node in a natal horoscope. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about, it would be Mars conjunct the South Node in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.